Hi, my name's Penny, and today I wanted to talk about some of my auto-buy authors. So this is another Strikebackvideoathon prompt, which I've done a few videos for now, so I will just leave all the links to the hosts down below if you want to know more about it. But let's just get into talking about some of my favorite authors. What is that? So my first auto-buy author is Patrick Rothfus. So Patrick Rothfus has only written a handful of books, primarily in the Name of the Wind series. So he's written the first book and the second book. There's also a novella about Auri. Is there anything else by Patrick Rothfus that I'm read? I'm not sure, but pretty much anything he does write, I know that I am going to buy, especially book number 3 when it comes out. I'm super excited for, but I think even if he one day does write something else, I would definitely pick it up. I mean, Patrick Rothfus is a pretty easy auto-buy author because he's not the most prolific of writers, or that, like, he does write a lot in terms of thickness of books, but he doesn't, like some authors put out a couple of books a year, and that can be hard to keep up with. But Patrick Rothfus is almost the opposite. Yeah, he's pretty easy to keep up with. Oh yeah, I guess I should say, for people who don't know, Name of the Wind is about a man called Quoth, who the story starts when he's older. The world has obviously turned to shit, and he has obviously been involved in that, and he's now telling the story of his life, which involved kind of his experience with his parents in this theatre troupe, and then him going to university to study magic and traveling the world, learning to be good at sword fighting and all sorts of adventures. Where it will end, we wait for book 3 to find out. Alright, so then my next auto-buy author is V.E. Schwab, or sometimes she goes by Victoria Schwab. Both the books I've got here are V.E. Schwab. I'm pretty sure The Darkest Shade of Magic, which I don't own but I want to, and I have read, is also a V.E. Schwab. I think she writes on V.E. Schwab when she is writing adult books, and Victoria Schwab when she's writing young adult. But what I love about Victoria Schwab is she tends to come up with really interesting and cool magic systems, as well as then having morally grey characters that are really interesting and tend to develop throughout the stories. So Vicious is hopefully getting a sequel later this year. Vicious is about 2 men who, when they're younger, studied extraordinaries at university. So extraordinaries are humans with extraordinary abilities, and the story kind of follows 2 timelines, one where they're studying extraordinaries and another timeline in the future where they're now enemies, and kind of gets into why that's become the situation. The Savage Song, or what was this duology called anyway? Oh, The Monsters of Verity, that's what it was called. So The Monsters of Verity is about monsters that are created through violent acts. So when something violent happens, like a murder or just someone gets abused, depending on what kind of violence has happened, a monster gets created. Then as well, the city has been divided into 2. So one side, there's a man who has sided with some of the monsters and people pay him for protection, and the other side also has sided with some monsters, but they just try to protect people and make it safer. We follow Kate, who is the daughter of the guy who gets people to pay her for protection, and she is trying to prove to her father that she can be as bad as he is, or as competent as he is. And then on the other side we've got August, who is one of the monsters, and he is really trying to find his humanity, and throughout the story they get thrown together. So again, it's like interesting characters, interesting magic systems. Of course, there's also the Darkest Shades series, where you have different versions of London, all with varying degrees of magic, and there's different characters in each version of London that kind of come together to fight this dark magic. All of these series are great. I do still need to go back and read The Archivist, which is one of her earlier series, and then I think that might be all of them. Maybe not. But I'm definitely going to read Vengeful, which is going to be the sequel to Vicious later in the year. And if she came out with a new series, I'm pretty sure I would be picking up really quickly. Alright, so then my third auto-bait author is JC Hatt, who is a New Zealander author, and to a degree, part of the reason why I will always buy her new books is because she's just a really lovely person, and I want to support her. But also, everything she's put out that I've read, I have absolutely loved. This is her Sun Touched series, which she's only written the first book, but she does say she's going to continue with the series, which follows a woman named Medea, and she lives in this world where they've been told you can't go in the sun, it's too harsh. People who go in the sun tend to get sun sickness and then become very violent and go crazy. But then she goes into the sun and her experience is not what she expected. She has also put out a couple of other series, so the Kotahi Bay series, which follows some different characters with different magical abilities, all related to the different Maori gods, and they work together to protect the small town and protect the gods. And also this book, eventually she wrapped it up into a book called Seraphina's Flame, which follows like 3 generations dealing with the destruction of their hometown and then rebuilding the relationship with the goddess that they worship, and also dealing with the relationship with the other people who destroyed their town. I really enjoyed reading all of these, so I'm really hoping she'll put out some more stuff soon and I can read it. She also self-publishes all of her stuff, so far at least, so I love to support her. So those 3 authors were really my main auto-buy authors, where if they put anything out, I would know that I will buy it pretty much straight away, like there won't be any waiting. I will just buy it and read it, no delay. But I think there are a few other authors I just want to mention in that I'm still catching up on their books. And so for whatever reason, I might not buy their new books straight away, but I know that I definitely will want to get to them. So they're kind of like honorable mentions. First one is Maggie Stiefvater. So she wrote the Raven cycle, which I really love, and I am not doing summaries of anymore because it's too hard and I don't think it really helps anybody. But I did really love the Raven Cycle series. I'm currently listening to The Wolves of Mercy Falls, and it's a bit slow, but I am enjoying it. And I haven't yet picked up all the Crooked Saints, but I really do want to. But I believe it is a series, and I'm trying not to start new series. So that's the main reason why I haven't picked it up yet, is just because it's a series, and I need to get some of my other series sorted out before I start any new series. So my second honorable mention would be Ryan Groudon, who wrote the Wolf by Wolf duology, which follows this girl Yale, who is a Jew during a Nazi Germany where it's like an alternative reality where the Nazis won the war, and she enters a motorcycle race because if she wins she'll get to meet Hitler, and she's hoping to use that opportunity to kill him. I really love that duology, and since then she's released Invictus, which I believe is some kind of time travel space story, which I love time travel, so I am definitely going to pick that up. But again, it's another series, so I'm just giving myself some time first, but I definitely want to try and pick it up this year if I can. And the last honorable mention is Brandon Sanderson. So Brandon Sanderson, I've only read the Mistborn trilogy and also the Arithmetist, but oh, and also some other short stories of his. I've read a few things by his, and I always love all his magic systems. So in the Mistborn trilogy, there's a world where people ingest metals and then they're able to burn them for different powers. Most people can only burn one particular kind of metal, but the Mistborn can burn all kinds of metal. And at the beginning of the series is kind of this group coming together to overthrow this Dark Lord. But by the end of the series, oh my god, so many things happen. It's amazing. And pretty much every book I've read of his feels like that. Like there's an amazing magic system. Sets up, you think something's going to work a certain way, but then there's so many twists and turns and it just blows your mind. And my plan is to go back and read all of his books in the order that he released them. But again, most of those are series, so I haven't got to it that fast. But I do definitely want to read everything that he has written, and once I catch up, which won't be anytime soon, but when I do catch up, then I would definitely be reading anything he releases. So he will, I'm pretty sure he's going to become an auto-buy author, although it's quite possible that he will die and maybe I will die before I catch up, but I'm trying. Okay, so those are my auto-buy authors. If you love those authors too, I'd love to talk to you down in the comments about what you love about them, and we can gush together. Or if you think there's some other authors I would like based on those ones, please let me know and I will check them out. Although if they're series, I might not check them out for a little while. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a really wonderful day, and I will see you next time.